Yes, Abu. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Hello. Yes. Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Okay. How are you? All right. So the last class we completed this chapter, garbage in and garbage out. We did solve some questions also. One important thing was left to be discussed in this chapter that was a kind of missed. That is this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, the Clean India mission, right now. So you need to know about this thing also. It is basically an initiative launched by the government of India on 2nd of October. Huh? What else is important about 2nd of October? That it's the what? What else happens on 2nd of October here in India? We celebrate Gandhi Jayanti, right? No, that is celebrated here. So it was launched on 2nd October in order to honor Mahatma Gandhi's vision of clean India, right? So the cleanliness campaign of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was run on a national level, and it encompassed all the towns, rurals, and urban areas as well. And it served as a great initiative in making people aware about the about the importance of cleanliness. So that was Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Okay, no? So before we move on further, first of all, no, there are a few questions for you. Let's first complete these questions, then we will proceed on further. Yeah, have a look at question number one. Yes, Abu, you have to answer them. Hello.
A.
That is right, Worm. Next.
B.
Hmm.
C.
That is C. Okay, now. No. What was the aim of the Switch Bharat Abhiyan? No. No. Moments ago, I did told you about the Switch Bharat Abhiyan. Na? See, open defecation, what does it mean? There are some people who would be basically in rural villages, you would be seeing that they don't have bathrooms, they don't have toilets. In still in many villages in India, there is no toilets. So people would be openly defecating in the fields, right now. But the aim of the Swachh Bharat was not about open defecation free India, but in general it was to eliminate the garbage. So they were basically meaning to keep the India clean. So more specific answer would be A, to eliminate the garbage and hence keep the country clean. Right now, because the defecation that will also be counted in a garbage, the human feces that also will be counted in garbage. So it's better to say to eliminate garbage. Next one. Remember, I did told you about this one. Which of the following structure helps red worms to grind the food?
A.
Yusabu? A. Gizzard. Very good. Okay, there are a few more questions.
A.
A. For question number 5, you are answering A. Look at the options first. Read the options carefully. The question says that how can you reduce the amount of paper waste? How can you reduce the amount of paper waste? By recycling paper, making hats or bags from waste
B.
paper? D, no, then. Avoid wastage of paper. Option number D is the appropriate one. Okay, next one.
B.
That is, yeah, repeat. Yes, Abu, will you please repeat that? Option number D, where you saying? This one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next question.
A.
Hmm, very good. Why not vermicompost? Yes, Abu, why not vermicompost, by the way? Although the answer is correct.
Vermicomposting is it is different word.
It is different, that is correct. Or also, in order for that waste to convert in a vermicompost, you have to add red worms into it now. We need to add a red worm. We need to take care of it, right? etc. Last question, you might be having difficulty in this one, but still try the last one. Question number 8.
जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह दुआ कैसी तबीयत वगैरह आपकी
Yeah. Okay, let me actually tell this one. Question is, which of the following is the waste product obtained during the extraction of metal? This one I didn't told you, but sometimes a question आ सकता है, although it is not in the answer. But know this thing. Okay, when metals, especially metals like iron, is obtained from their ores. In geography, we study this fundamental thing that different type of metals are extracted from their ores. Metals are not formed in pure form in nature. They're always formed in impure form. And that impure form of the metals are called as ores. Right now. So while metals, certain metals will be extracted from their ores now. So thereby some waste material will also be produced while in the process. Okay. Na? So that waste material uh, will be called as slag, SLAG. All right now. Okay, so here basically the chapter ends. So also with this chapter we have finished the syllabus also. Okay, na Abu. Yeah. So by the way, Abu, do you recall when did you join the class? In which month? Hello. Guess I'm audible to you.
yes sir I don't know
Okay, okay. Anyways, so we have finished the chapter right now. So if there's any question so far from this chapter or any other doubts or questions apart from the chapter, please do let me know. Yes, Abu. Hello.
sir nothing
Nothing. Okay then. So what we are going to be doing right now, na? Right now, what I would be doing, we would be doing certain questions then. Starting from chapter number 1, we would be doing some questions. All right, no? Also, I did saw the website you did told me about the EQAD. So there on that website, every day one question is there on the website, and you have to submit your answer, right? Like if you were to open that website today, you will find this question regarding like sanitation. There was a question like sanitation has always been a worry during the monsoons. In monsoons, you see that there's road becomes so much muddy right now. So sanitation has always been the problem during the monsoon. So this is when we find that diseases are rampant. Rampant means it spreads. So during the monsoon season, you will see कि disease spread होती है. As the number of people falling sick increases day by day, right now. So if you were to read that question,
I've done
uh,
that
you have done that.
yeah
Oh, great. So there, what was the meaning
but
of the word rampant? RAMPNT. Yes.
for everyone in the world it would be the same question
Everywhere in the world, it would be the same question you're saying.
yeah
Okay. So basically, you have to submit one answer every day. There's a one question every day, and you have to submit its answer. So, what was the answer of the word rampant? RAMPANT.
sir I don't remember
Huh? Okay. But in general, what does rampant mean? Forget about the given question. Rampant का meaning क्या होता है basically?
uh,
Huh?
it means that like
Like something that is spreading everywhere and it is difficult to control. Right now?
yes, It's like
Something just like.
it's like it is like it's like some it just means something is like out of control. Like
Hmm.
it's it basically is that like a plant, like you would see some like grass or weed, the unwanted plants, like
You can exactly take an example of that. Huh.
yeah.
Or for example, like Mhm. For example, recently you have the pandemic, COVID pandemic was there, right now. It is still is there. The cases are still coming right now. Okay, if you see the yesterday's question, did the yesterday question?
No.
There was a question from history. Okay, now like आपसे like do you solve the questions from science only or from history also? Do you solve the questions?
Sir, there would be only
There would be only three. Many, I mean, three what?
three subjects, like only
Three. Huh.
math, science, English.
Math, science, and English. Okay, 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 okay. In fact, that's a very good website. I think. अच्छे questions होते हैं इसमें. Okay, ना? Okay. So, anyways, I was. Do tell me one more thing. Like in your final exams, how the questions are going to come? Will it not be from the chapters of the NCRT? Have you got any idea? Like, have you received any syllabus for your final exams? By the way,
No.
not yet. No. Okay, okay. Also, in your school, what is going on right now?
What, sir?
Right now, what's happening in the school? Like, vacation is over right now. Right? So, which
Yes.
chapter is being going on? Which chapter is being taught in the school?
Uh, cell.
Cell. Okay,
Yes.
okay. That chapter is going on. Okay. So, also you must be having a list of all the chapters which has been completed in your school so far. Can you tell me quickly the names of the chapters that have been completed so far in your school?
So I don't know.
Okay, just give me a rough idea. Like you must be remembering at least few of the chapters which have been completed or topics at least.
Sir, wait, I will bring my text.
Okay, okay, no issue. I'm waiting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Uh, Fiber to fabric separation of substances, getting to know plants,
Okay.
uh, motion and measurement of distance, light, shadow, and reflection.
Okay.
Uh, Sir, there is no cell.
Cell is not there.
Yes.
That's why. That's what I was thinking about. No, like there is no chapter named cell. Okay, now this is a topic which the teacher might be teaching you in the school. Okay, now.
No, sir.
Hmm.
It's like one full chapter that she's teaching.
There is one full chapter
Yeah,
by the name the cell.
yeah, but it's not in my textbook.
Okay, okay, but that chapter is being taught in the school, no?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. So we will be taking up that chapter. Then, if it is being taught in the school, then it means questions are going to be asked from that chapter. It is going to be part of syllabus. Okay, now. What else?
and sir, now the the lesson magnetism is
Repeat that. I didn't heard it properly. Repeat.
magnetism.
Okay,
Magnet.
that. Okay, okay. Basically, the fun with magnets chapter, we did that, no?
Yes.
Okay, okay. And what else? Anything remaining?
No.
Okay, okay. So some chapters are left to be taught in your school as well, like body movements. That hasn't been done yet, right now?
Yes.
Okay. So let's take up this topic, this cell. But before we take on this topic now. First of all, let me take a quick test of you. Okay, na? Okay. So for example, do you remember while we were doing the chapter components of while we were doing the chapter food, where does it come from? They I did told you about cellulose. Do you remember this term? Yes, cellulose. Do you remember this, Abu? If you know in the chapter food, where does it come from? We did studied about the sources of the food. It comes from plant, it comes from animal. From plant it comes we there are different edible parts of the plants. We consume roots, we consume leaves of the plants. Okay, no, not in general sense, particular plants. We would be consuming roots of certain plants, leaves, fruits, seeds, flowers, even the stems of certain plants are consumed, right now. Then we did talked about animals also, like milk, meat, poultry eggs, fishes, etc. So those were the sources of the food. Then we did talk about like the food that we're eating. Why is it necessary? What does it basically consist of? There we saw like there are different type of nutrients found in the food. Like there is carbohydrate, there is oil, there is fat. There is vitamins, there is minerals, there is water. Right now, right, Abu. Then we did talked about like what are the food of the animals, what the animals will be eating. And animals were also of three different basically types, which we all know of basically herbivorous, omnivorous, carnivorous, etc. So in that, while we were doing all those discussions, we did talk about cellulose also. Do you remember about cellulose? Yes. Just answer yes or no. Okay, now. Just answer yes or no. Don't think too much. Hmm. Yes, Abu.
Yes.
Okay, so what was cellulose? Acha, do tell me this thing. Will cellulose be found in plant or will it be found in animals? It is found in the cells of plants only, not in the animals. Okay, na? So basically, cellulose was a substance that was found in the cell walls of plants. ये plants के cell walls में पाया जाता था, right? And this was it is a fiber which is not digested in the body. If humans were to consume it, it is not digested, but it helps in digestion. ये खुद digest नहीं होता है. If you consume like palak ki saag or spinach leaves. You eat green vegetables, you eat leafy vegetables, so that will be rich in cellulose. But that cellulose found in them, itself isn't getting digested, but it helps in the process of digestion. And thereby, one more interesting thing we studied कि cellulose adds roughage in our food. It adds roughage in it. Roughage क्या है? Roughage is basically fibrous materials in the food that helps in digestion. Hope that clears the doubt. Okay, na? Okay. So, anyways, let's take up this topic, the cell. Okay, so in your school, you must have studied some of the basic things about the cell. So, so far, what did you understood by this thing? Yes, when you look at a wall now, when we look at a building, for example, when we look at a building, so we see that there are different components in a building. For example, different parts are there. The main fundamental parts are like pillar is there, walls are there. So take a section of wall, for example. Yeah. So when we take out this wall, or when we study about the walls of the buildings, thereby further we when we do a detailed study of it, further we find there are bricks in it. Right now, there are bricks in it. So can we say that a building is made up of tiny units called as bricks? Yes, Abu. Can't we say that? It is a fundamental unit of this building. Huh? Bricks and lots of bricks are joined together in order to raise up this building. Right now. So when you break apart a building to a very small level, so thereby you will be having bricks. Similarly, when we talk about living organisms, when you talk about all the living organisms, whether it be a plant, whether it be animals, whether it be microscopic organisms also, so when you break apart an organisms to a very small level, so that smallest component of that living organism will be called as a cell. Cell. Getting thing, getting this thing or not? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. So we defined cell as the smallest and the basic unit of life, right? And this cell is actually responsible for all the different type of processes that are that is happening inside the body of an living organism, right? Now, whether you are whether you see whatever type of processes you are doing, you are eating food, your body is digesting it, then that is excreted, right? Blood is flowing in from your heart to different parts of the body. uh, Messages why the sensory organs are being carried to the brain. It goes there are so many sensory nerves in the body, all of them is attached to the spinal cord, and that brings the information to the brain. You see, the muscular system is there in the body, you have the skeletal system in the body, you have the nervous system in the body. No matter what type of structure you are looking at in your body, all of them will be made up of cells, right? So that's why we study is similar to how we see the fundamental and structural unit of a building is a brick. In the same manner, the fundamental and structural unit of a living organism is a cell. So lots of cells will be joining up, they will be joining to form tissues now. See, these are cell. So lots of cells joins together to form tissues. And the tissues will further join together to form organs. And different type of organs, they function in coordination with each other and thereby creates a living organism, right? So first of all, let's define cell. So we already said that cell is, it is the basic, yes, it is the basic and the smallest unit of life that is responsible for all the life processes. Hope you got this. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's understand this thing. Like for example, a human being, okay, now, that is breathing air. For example, a human being that breathes air. For example, let's take an example over here that this human takes in um, air, and then the lungs of this person will be filtering out oxygen. So oxygen will be filtered out by the lungs, and that oxygen will go with via the blood to different parts of the body, right? So let's take, for example, let's take brain. So brain needs oxygen. Brain needs regular supply of oxygen, right? To be specific, the brain cells we should be actually talking about right now. Brain cells need oxygen actually. Further, the question comes that why the brain cells need oxygen? What is the use of the oxygen there? Yes, Abu, any idea? Why our cells will be requiring oxygen? Think about it. Yes. Hello. The question is that why brain cells, not just brain cells, let's say why any cells require oxygen. The basic thing is that when we are, yes, okay. So the reason behind is that you see, we humans either to grow, either to repair our damaged tissues, either to be able to carry out different type of physical activities, our body needs energy, right now. So where does that energy come from? One would say, obviously, sir, the food that we are eating from. So from that food, we are obtaining energy. But the question again comes at what, how we are getting energy from that food? So obviously, that food has to be broken down into very simple substances. And while the food is broken down, we extract energy from that. So we come down to the conclusion that the energy we are getting, it is because of the breakdown of the food in our body. Further, one more question can be thought of here, that where the food breakdown is happening. The answer lies that it happens in the cell. In the cells, food is broken inside the cells, right? So again, this question is left unanswered. So the answer to why we would be needing oxygen, why cells need oxygen, lies in this fact that while the food is broken down in the cells, oxygen is required for the breakdown of the food, right? And later you would study, or might I might have also told you about this thing. In the presence of oxygen, when the food is broken down in the cells, that is called as respiration. Respiration, getting it now? So basically, to carry out respiration, oxygen is required. And while respiration is being done, thereby energy is released. And the energy that is released will be used up by the cells to grow, to reproduce, and to repair itself if it is damaged. If there's any doubt, any question so far, please feel free to ask. Hello. Yes, Abu.
Yes.
Is there any question so far?
No.
Okay, everything's clear.
Yes.
Okay, will you please can you please summarize what we just studied so far? Yes.
We have studied about the like how like the how organism and all like what is the life like what becomes what and all.
That thing we studied like different type of different cells will be uh, um, cells will be combining together to form tissues, and tissues will combine to form organ, and then that forms a organism that makes an organism. But the another question was that this organism, this person takes in oxygen. Okay, no? This person takes in oxygen, and then this oxygen is taken up by different cells in his body, right? So we saw further that the cells would be requiring oxygen to break down the food. So basically, when the food is digested, so basically, what is happening in the digestion of the food now? The food is broken down into very tiny, simpler substances. It is so tiny that it can enter into the cells, right? So when it enters into the cell, in order to obtain energy from it, has to break that food further. So thereby, in the presence of oxygen, it will be breaking that food down. That process is called as respiration, and respiration energy will be released, and that energy will be taken up by utilized by the cell to either grow, to either reproduce or repair. So we saw just that this respiration is one of the important life process. That's why we said cell is the basic and the smallest unit of life that is responsible for all the life processes. So this respiration was just an example here. Please do let me know if you got this thing or not. When you say so, when you say yes, sir, then you will have to explain it as well. Yeah.
Yes.
So just explain this thing, like summarize it. What I just told you.
Like
No issue. Take your time. Take your time. Okay. Now.
uh you have like uh, like the first with the cell to the it's like the to the cell to the like you have thought about the you have
Mm.
thought that there is an organism then uh, like smaller to it is organ then after that the the smaller to that is the
See, basically, cells will combine to form tissues. Tissues will combine to form organs, and organs will combine to form an organism. Yes, you are having an organism, right? Okay, no? Further, I did told you about the cells. Like cells, we know that they perform different type of life processes. For example, they do respiration, okay, na? And in fact, they do excretion also, just to name few example. Okay, now. So like moments ago, what I was explaining here now, this whole thing I did told you about why oxygen is required, because I did told you that oxygen is required to break down the food to obtain energy, and that whole process is called as respiration. So I think you would be able to explain it once again. Try to explain it. Yes, Abu.
Mm.
Because why we need to understand this thing, because in the definition I have written, it is the basic and the smallest unit of life that is responsible for all the life processes. Huh? Like you are thinking something, huh? It is because of the cell. Your body is transporting different materials. For example, the blood in your body is transporting different type of substances. Like blood carries oxygen, blood carries urine as well, blood carries oxygen, blood carries carbon dioxide, blood carries food particles. So thereby all the different type of life processes are actually dependent on cells, because when you further study about blood, for example, blood is what? Blood is also made up of cells now. So we finally come down to the cells now. That's why this thing needs to be cleared. Try to explain this thing only, respiration only.
Respiration is the process, like when uh, like it is about the energy.
Uh, Correct.
It's we getting energy. It's like the part of respiration. So
Hmm.
like to uh, cells to respiration, and then the need like the plants to do photosynthesis, uh, they need water. Say
Hmm.
like same thing for the cells to do respiration. They need an oxygen.
Exactly. Exactly. Very well. Very good. So basically, in respiration, cell will be breaking down food with the help of oxygen. And while the food is being broken down, thereby energy will be released. Right. So thereby respiration is an important life process. Why? Because with the help of this process now, we are getting energy. Right. If there were to be no respiration in the body, then the person won't be getting any energy. Right. So that is the thing. Okay. Further, when we talk about cells now, you also need to know, okay, who discovered cells basically. Like no one would invent cells, because cell was always there in the human body, in the animal body, in the plant body, and in the microorganisms also. But who was the person who told the world that, look, this is a structure that is found in the living organisms, and that is the smallest structure. So the name of the person was Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke. So this person, what he did now, uh, in the year 1665, he made a very interesting discovery. See, this is a bottle cork. You understand about cork? Cork. Yeah. So see,
Yeah.
so what Robert Hooke did now? So he took a piece of a bottle cork, and he cut a very fine piece out of it. He took a very tiny piece out of it, and he observed that under a microscope. At that time, the microscope was a very simple microscope, बहुत ही primitive microscope. होता था उस वक्त. Okay, ना, it was not as complex and as advanced as we are having right now. So what he observed, when he observed it under the microscope, na, thereby he noticed some structures in it, na, which reminded him of a room, a little room. So when he studied that, he found some interesting structures in it. So those structures were looking similar to small rooms, right? So thereby he named these rooms as cells, cells. Just like how jail, in jail the cells are there, no? Every um, every person who is every criminal in the jail will be having separate cells, right? No, cells is basically a small room. So he named these small rooms as cells. Where he is observing these small rooms? In the cork, in a very tiny piece of cork. So when he observed that piece of cork in the microscope, he observed the structures like this. Right now, further we need to know that microscope had a very limited magnification. Magnification, magnification. Okay, now to what extent you can magnify something, that is magnification. So this had a very limited magnification. So other details were not visible to him using this microscope. So better microbes were not developed during that time. So due to this, now he concluded that he had non-living structures. So these are non-living structures. So initially, when the cells were discovered by Robert Hooke in the year 1665, he discovered cork cells. Okay, na. So he thought of them to be dead. उन्हें क्या लगा? These are non-living structures. Why? Because he didn't found anything moving inside the cell. All due to limited magnification of this microscope. This was a simple microscope. Getting it, Nabu? Right? Now, there after Robert Hooke, several other scientists came also. As time passed by, uh, better microscopes were being developed. So then later, another scientist came. Okay, now his name was Anton von Leeuwenhoek. So this scientist observed cells of another cell. He observed cells under another microscope that had a higher magnification. All right, now. So this time, when he observed the cells, thereby he observed that he obs- um, he concluded that the cells exhibited some type of movement also. There can be some type of movements seen in the cells also, right? So eventually, after several observations and after so many years, this scientist Anton von Leeuwenhoek discovered the movement in the cells, right now. So hope you are getting these things. Further, when we talk about the cells in whether in the plants or the animals, there are certain characteristics of the cells. Characteristics of cells. So first of all, just as we know that a brick will be providing support and structure to the building, in the similar manner, cells will be providing structure and support to the body of any living organism. Getting it now? So that is the one function, one of the main characteristics of cell, that it provides structure and support. The question comes how, right now? The question must come to your mind, like how it is providing structure and support to the body. As I told you, uh, just like how building is holding up the how a brick is joined together and thereby holds up the building, in the same manner it will do so. Right now, for example, you can understand it in this manner. Like take the example of the skeletal system or the muscular system or any system in the human body. For example, let's take the skeletal system. So you thereby you get to see that there is the skull, right now. There will be rib cage. These are the limbs. Okay, there will be hip bone, right? So for example, I have just drawn a rough diagram here. So just see, these are the bones, right? We obviously see that the function of the skeletal system is what? It provides structure, it provides framework to the body, right now. It protects the soft internal organs also. Like the skull protects the brain, ribcage protects what? Which organs are protected by the ribcage, by the way?
Lungs, heart, kidney.
Lungs, heart, not kidney. Kidney is actually below the ribcage, right? So that is the function performed by. Further, I get to see like this is providing a structure. And bones, when we reduce it down, when we study it under microscopes, see that these are actually made up of cells now. So will it not be actually more true to say that cells are also providing a structure and support? Right now, Abu? Okay, now. So that is another characteristic of it. Second thing you need to know about the cells, that every cell will be having a center in it that is called as nucleus. See what I mean to say? That see you have a cell. In the center of the
It,
cell, yes,
it is the brain of this.
exactly. It is just like we humans are having a brain, cells also have their own thinking brains. That is called as nucleus. Very good. So there will be a nucleus in it also. Right now. Further, you get to see that this just like there's a fence around our house, so there will be a boundary around the cell also. Okay, now. So the first boundary is called as plasma membrane. Plasma membrane. There will be another one more boundary, but that will be only in the plant cells. That is called as cell wall. Only in plants. Okay, na? So if you remember, before we I started talking about this chapter, the cell, I asked you a question regarding cellulose. Remember that half an hour ago I asked this question to you. What is cellulose? Yes, Abu. Cellulose is the fiber that is actually found in the cell walls of plants. Hope you are able to understand it in a better manner now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now. So that is the another characteristics of cell, that a cell has nucleus and plasma membrane. Third thing, there will be a cell wall in plants only. Now, if you were to look at the space between the nucleus and the plasma membrane, see this is space over here. This space is filled with a jelly-like substance. Do you know the name of that jelly-like substance? What do we call that? We call this as cytoplasm. Okay, now. So the space between the nucleus and the plasma membrane that is filled with the jelly-like substance that is called as cytoplasm. Hope you got this. Okay, now. Now the next class when we would be taking up this chapter, there I will be telling you about types of cells. What are the different type of cells? Right now. So thereby you would understand that there are